Hello everyone and welcome to PaxAriaGaming. This is Reg and we are continuing our quest for knowledge in Wuchang Fallen Feathers. Episode 5, picking up where we were last time. Let's get started. Okay, the last time before we went through the gate, we took a right-hand turn and explored what was on the right side. Now we are going through. These little reminder, these little rock mining guys are non-hostile. They will throw rocks at you from time to time, but they really can't hurt you. And I think in one of the patches they changed your ability to kill them, because I could have sworn in the first episode I actually did kill them. To get HP, but you apparently can't do that now, unless I'm mistaken and something else has changed. So we want to try to take this guy out, who's going to be annoying by firing arrows at us the whole time. And he has some buddies. I'm just using my magic by firing into rocks, which is pretty silly. The goal while we're in this area is to ignite 3 spires, the red glowing spires that we'll see in the middle of these areas. In so doing, we will lower a bridge that actually leads to a boss. We're a ways away from that right now. You know, I don't think I've said it enough, but this is an incredibly fun game. I've heard someone describe it as harder than Black Myth Wuchang. Sorry, Wuchang. Confusing the two. Black Myth Wukong. I don't think it is. I think the difference between the two, in my opinion, is that in Black Myth Wukong, it is just boss after boss after boss, which to me made it much more difficult. Everywhere you turn, you are fighting an actual boss. In this game, there are bosses in each of the regions. There are some mini bosses. Actually, there are multiple bosses in the regions, and then there are mini bosses as well. But I think the difference is in Black Myth Wukong, there were bosses, not mini bosses. Just tons of them. They weren't necessarily region-based, although yes, in each section of the game you had a boss that you had to face to move on to the next, but there were other main bosses as well. And of course, in the side content, there were bosses. In order to get the special fight with Erlang Cheng, you had to defeat the long bosses. If you didn't want that fight, then you didn't have to do it, but they were very difficult, especially the one in chapter 4, I can't remember his name. Oh my god, very, very difficult. Actually, he was the most difficult. The other ones weren't all that difficult. I don't think this is harder. When you get to the actual bosses, they do require you to learn, and a couple of them might actually require you to get good. I have not respect anything at this point. You can, if you're struggling with a boss, or you can do a respect or respec and change your sort of characteristics, which then allows you to decide to change your weapon loadout as well. I haven't had to do that. I'm committed to a magic build in this one. For me, that's magic as well as feathering, which I guess is a type of magic if you want to look at it that way. I have used the spear. I have used the longsword. I've not used anything else.
You've come.
Sorry for that little noise.
The rebels swarmed like locusts. One sword against their tide. I was overrun. Forgive my failure. The glory of Shenru Temple blazed for centuries. And now, I am its last disciple. Alone. With nowhere left to turn. Might I burden you with one last request? Just beyond that bridge lies Snowfall Palace, the wealthiest settlement in these lands. There's a treasurer there, a man named Lee. We're familiar with each other. Would you deliver this to him for me? I'll stay safe, and thank you.
Okay. So Wang Jian-yi gave us the tome and a recovery pill and a tad more lore. So now we're just continuing to loot and scour the area. Now we're continuing to loot and just scour the area. Just taking out any enemies along the way. Yeah, these guys do a little bit of trash talking when they're trying to kill you. I hear one of those birds in the area as well.
These creatures, you kill them, they rise anew. They just won't stay down.
They say it's the red tower that fuels their madness. I shall stay here, keep
Right.
watch, thank you.
So
Risk my life.
some of these creatures, these are humanoids. But some of the creatures that you see, the ones, especially the ones that seem to come out of the ground, once you destroy those sort of red glowing towers, they'll stop. They won't continually respawn after that. But it's a task because they're sort of spread out. You have to sort of work your way through very populated areas to get to them. Then you have to climb a tower. You have to fight the guy at the top of the tower who's guarding them, and then you light the bonfire at the top, which then sends a signal down to the spires on the ground. And once you light all three, which is what we're going to be spending most of this episode doing. I don't know whether we'll finish in this episode, but once you light all three, the gate that I mentioned before, the bridge that I mentioned before, lower, connecting the two halves of the map. There are two, actually, yeah, two main bosses in this area. They're pretty close to one another. One you can't get to until you complete the main quest, which is lighting those fires. The other one you can get to before that. And we probably will end up dealing with both of those in the next episode. I'm not sure we'll be able to get to them in this one because of all the work we have to do to get to even the first one. And as I sort of promised you guys in a previous episode, I am going to try to fully realize my battle mage status and use my sword more. I'm unlikely to switch to other weapons at this point. I think I tried to do the dual wielding once for maybe 5 minutes. It does change your playstyle a little bit. Even though the short sword, the one-handed sword, is a short sword, it sort of forces you to get closer to the enemies than the long swords do. I should be watching out for the mines. I almost stepped on that. The axe is probably the most powerful weapon in the game. I've seen people go through and just melt through enemies using the weapon arts from the axe. I used the spear for a little while early in the game. Start the game with a long sword. I think you find the spear first. That's the first other weapon that you find in the game. And I think the next one is the short sword that you find. The one-handed sword that you find. And if you have enough points, like I said, you can switch between them. You can decide, let me try this with the one-handed, I don't like it, let me go to two-handed. The two-hand is a two-hand sword that's sort of like a whip sword that gives you a lot more reach than a regular two-handed sword, and significantly more reach than a one-handed sword. The reason I'm sticking with the one-handed sword is because of the magic build that I'm using. Oddly enough, you need to, if you're doing a magic build, this is the weapon that will support that, rather than any of the other weapons. Find a mine that was handy to have a walk over. If you kite the enemies over the mines, for some reason, even though this is the area they're patrolling, they can't seem to see the mines and they walk right over them. It does cause damage. It's an effective strategy, especially if you're in a place where you haven't exploded any of the mines. The other thing is that I know that there's a patch, I think it probably came out after this episode, I think, where there are a lot fewer mines in the game and they're easier to see now. Actually, it might not be true because you can see these pretty well, and I remember not being able to see them very well before. It would just be the tip of the mine sticking out of the ground and you would easily just run right over them. I guess it really is about, quality of life in terms of the game, so that you're not in a situation where it's a tough enough game without it seeming unfair, right? I mean, it's tough. I don't know that I agree that it's more difficult than Black Myth, though. And I can't compare it to something like Night Rain because of the multiplayer aspect, and comparing it to Elden Ring, it's different. But comparing it to Black Myth, or comparing it to Neo, let's do that. And comparing it to the Neo games, I actually think this is more difficult. Neo sort of forced you to be a slasher type player, and your loadout or your weapons and things like that sort of supported that. So it actually worked out well. I wasn't worried about dying so quickly because I wasn't squishy. I just walked right over that. You can see all the mines in the ground there. You want the enemies to walk over as many of those as they can. So it was a little bit different because you weren't creating the character setups. Yikes. See, if I was close enough when they stepped on the mines, I would have been able to get a critical hit. Or, as the game calls it, an obliterate. Yeah, this big guy apparently didn't step on enough of them because he's still pretty healthy. Yeah, those are really annoying. They track you pretty well. And the key is either outrun them or dodge at the last second. If you dodge too early, they will just hone in on you and follow you anyway. And these enemies follow you forever in this game. I mean, it's amazing how far they will follow you. I think earlier there was one that actually would turn around after a while. But this guy seems to be like he's going to follow me to the ends of the earth. Oh, maybe not. Maybe he did turn around. Let's see. He's reached his kite limit. He must have stepped. He must have stepped on a mine going back. That works. I'm not going to complain. The developers put this in the game, so I'm going to use everything they give me. So while I disagreed with the guy who said that this was harder than Black Myth Wukong, there are some difficult bosses in the game. You know, I'm not going to lie. There are some difficult bosses in the game. One of the things I've figured out is that the first time I face a boss, and I believe that's true for every boss I've faced so far.
We are doomed
Except
if
maybe
the rebels find us. They raided this place just days ago, taking all that was not fastened down. Even the men they seized. For forced labor, they said. I alone escaped their notice. At my age, one takes each day as it comes. To die at home is preferable to torment at the hands of rebels. Corpse I shall be either way, but better to stay intact. You do well to take heed and tread carefully.
So the point I was making is that whenever I fight the boss for the first time, I seem to die within the first within 30 seconds. In some cases, within 10 seconds. And, you know, I guess I'm just surprised by their moveset. And then the next time, I last a little bit longer because I'm still learning the moveset. So I think the strategy should be make sure you spend all the currency that you have, so that you don't lose it all, because you're likely going to die in that first attempt. But you learn the moveset. If it's a two-phase thing, you may not learn the full moveset because you may not have gotten to the second phase. Early in the game, these bosses are all sort of a one-phase boss. Later, I think we'll see some two phases, which is going to force you to that will force you to get good.
My boy. Those damned idiots said the general's resting in the tent, but he isn't letting anyone in. Cloudspire's gone to the dogs. There's fighting everywhere. I wonder how
Yang gets around. She really does get around.
Hey, could you head to the army camp proper and relay a message to my boy? Just tell him his dear old mother is waiting for him. Good. I knew I could trust my gut. Take this. I lifted it from some soldier's body. The cover's sealed tight, and I can't pry it open. I've no use for it, so just think of it as payment. That's my end of the deal sorted. Now just don't forget about yours.
Okay. Just gonna borrow some loot from your little hideout. Now in this area, this is where one of the spires is located that we need to light, but it's also packed with enemies. There's also... Okay, now that we've done this, this area is where one of the spires are located. It's also got a few more enemies than we've seen. And some of these enemies are shooting at you, some are firing cannons at you. So there's a lot to watch out for when you're navigating through this little area. Also, there are these mutated ones that come out of the ground, and they will keep spawning. So I don't know whether it's worth your time to try to kill them, because they'll just keep coming back. So until you sort of light the spire, they're going to keep coming back. So if you're looking to like explore and grab loot, I wouldn't bother until after you've done that. Once you've done that, and you've killed the other enemies around, then you're free to roam and loot anything you can find, and no one's going to bother you. So I mentioned there is a shrine that you can get to, but I think it's just too dangerous to try to get there right now. So what we're going to do is continue to go house to house and try to take care of the enemies that we can get to. Just making sure I'm going in the right direction. So here we're going to go upstairs, or up the ladder, once we grab the loot. And there'll be one of these guys. For some reason I'm terrible at dodging them. But they'll just keep spawning, so it's really not worth trying to fight them. So we'll go up top, and there is a pot genie. I think that's what they're calling them now. I called her a pot lady from most of the game, hiding over there in the corner. You can't lock on. You have to sort of get over there and then she'll jump out at you. And then you can exit either door. One door gives you a little bit of a sniping advantage, and the other door is the way forward. Yeah, dipping outside was probably not a good idea because I've alerted everybody. Yeah, bad idea. Dipping outside that door, there's one of those soldier guys that's off to the left of the door when you go out. There's a dog to the right. There are other enemies to the right as well. If you stay in this room and you can take care of the pot lady first, then from the door you can actually see the guard if you go far enough over, and you can take him out. You can sort of lure the dog into the room and take him out. Jesus, I don't know why I'm so intimidated by the pot lady. She's got this weird moveset that's just freaks me out. You hear her skittering around up there. God, that's creepy. That is so creepy. Oh my god. Okay. I mean, I could just run around the opening in the center of the room and sort of... Sounds like she's stuck on something. I don't know where she is. I don't know if it's possible that she went outside. I don't know. That's really weird. This gives you a survey of the area. That thing in the middle, the red thing in the middle, is what our objective is. Those little two lines leading from it leads to the top of this tower that we have to climb. This is the soldier that helped kill me the first time. See, it's easy if you take them on one at a time. I don't know where the pot lady went, folks. She disappeared. I guess she decided to bounce when she couldn't kill me. There are no more enemies to the left. The dog is off to the right somewhere. Yeah, he just spotted me, so hopefully he'll come here. Careful. Yep. I think he might be the only dog in the area. I think everything else is, from this point on, are human enemies or maybe the mutated ones. So when you come out here, your objective is to go off to the right and climb a ladder to allow you to begin to climb this tower. There's a guy who's going to be shooting at you. Typically, you can't get up the ladder. Right, see, you can't get up the ladder without being shot at once. I just ran back in to sort of reset. But when you go out, the idea is just get to the ladder as quick as you can and start climbing. You may get hit once, but you're not going to get hit more than once. And at the top, I think he stops shooting at you. Don't worry about the bird that you hear. You can get the bird later. and eventually you can take out that guy as well. There's the bird there. Now, I guess if I were really being smart, I would have done that first. I would have just gone to the other side, taken him out, and then done this. So I guess that's one way to do it. You can clear the area before going up the tower, or you can go up the tower and do what you have to do up there. The benefit for doing that first is that the mutated things won't keep spawning.
Time to die! Die! Can't run! To an altruistic leader, the people's happiness must be paramount.
Oh,
Well said.
friend.
A general who disregards human life can never truly rise to greatness. No. Who are you? Why are you saying this? Monster!
Not quite sure what's going on with the old
My
guy.
mind is my own! Forgive an old man for losing his composure. I mean you no harm. I never expected you to make it this far. There are 2 beacon towers here. Light them, and let the smoke carry your message far and wide. This is the only way to reach Cloudspire. The ongoing conflict between those within and outside the city has only deepened the people's suffering. I hope you can bring an end to this. I've come across some items from the monsters recently. They're yours now. But misuse them, and I'll just as swiftly reclaim them.
Okay, so that's the goal that he sets. So there are 2 of those things here, and there's 1 in another area. To get into, I guess, Cloudspire proper. Since this whole chapter 2 is Cloudspire. Okay, we're gonna let these guys fight it out. Alright. He saw me. Okay. And we're gonna let him de-aggro, and then we're gonna go out. Since he's wiling out like that, I'm gonna come down a little bit. And hopefully he will go back to the opposite side of this tower. There should be... Okay, he's coming back. There should be a chest up there as well. You always get a reward other than just going up and actually lighting the spire. In addition to that, you get either a chest or some kind of treasure for doing these. This one is the easiest one to get, actually. So what I'm going to try to do is, once I get up there, I'm just going to actually hide behind the bonfire thingy. You can't see me. and that's going to be my shield from him. And I'm just going to kite him around that thing and just kill him. So one of my fears about fighting him up here is that he's very likely to knock me off the edge. Since I'm not really doing melee stuff, and I'm not really good at it, with the one-handed swords moveset, my feeling is he would just shove me right off the edge of the thing, which would kill you. So this is how you light the bonfire thingy. This will lead down to the spire that we saw earlier. And so now, if you went back down there, those mutated things will not spawn. So that was the objective of this main area, was to light this thing and unlock any shortcuts that we find along the way, defeat any enemies that we find along the way, find any treasures that we find along the way, you know, those kinds of things. But this is the main objective. This allows you to progress the story. If you don't do this, you cannot progress the story. Next main shrine. That gate to our right will not open from this side. Since they never show me doing some of this stuff, I figured I'd leave this in. This is the short sword wing of the skill tree. So as I was mentioning, that gate won't open from this side. You have to go to the other side. So we will work our way around. This is a pretty big area. We will have to work our way around. We'll unlock the gate. On the other side of that gate, there are multiple paths that you can take. So you can already notice that the mutated guys aren't spawning. Right, if we were here prior, which is one of the reasons we sort of took the path that we took, is to avoid that, to avoid the continually spawning mutated guys. They're not terrible, they're just annoying. See, there's one in the building. If you kill him, he won't come back. Just checking things out.
Please,
Talk to this person.
The tower ahead. It has become a thing of dread. The dead rise, brought back by that cursed tower. Not as men, but as feathered beasts. Those useless soldiers, all they do is hide. They don't even light the beacon. What are they even guarding? Hurry now. Slip away before they notice.
Okay, so our goal now is to get to the second spire. Which obviously means there's a workaround, since we can't go through the gate. I think I mentioned in the previous episode that if you end up with frostbite, which is highly likely in this little region of the game, if you just stand in the sun, you can alleviate that. There's also a consumable that you can use, and if you use it once, it should protect you from frostbite unless you die. I think it stays forever, actually. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe, I know it lasts a very long time. It's not one of those things where you have to use every 2 minutes. It'll last a very long time. So we want to take these guys out. I should probably be using a different spell since my magic doesn't seem to be very strong against this guy. We're going to kill him, and then we're going to jump down and clear the area down there.
Take me.
So I had a feeling that was going to happen. This thing we've seen earlier, you can't use it to go up. If you fall down and you fall on it, it will alleviate any gravity damage. So I'm not sure. It's weird because I'm not sure. Maybe the placement in the game was because of the breakable thing up top. I'm not sure. Because otherwise I can't figure out why that would even be in the game. Unless there are late game areas that use them and just wanted to get used to it. Otherwise, the placement of it is very strange. Because we've been in caves before, and okay, so yeah, these guys are going to spawn because that spire thing hasn't been burned yet. And they're just going to keep coming. Okay, so this is relatively wasted energy here. Okay, enough lollygagging here. We're going to run over to the left side over here. I want to not have to deal with all the bullshit just happened. That's the whip sword thingy that I mentioned earlier. It has much longer reach, which is good. Make our way up here. Yeah, and I don't look up when I'm running, and I don't know whether it matters or not. These random bodies that drop out of the trees, they hurt a lot if they actually manage to hit you. They almost never hit me, but if they manage to hit you, it's gonna hurt a lot. Take out the two dogs. So we will take them out. We'll go forward. There are 3 ways that you can go, but let's see. Yeah, before I walked up that hill, I was headed towards this ladder when I got attacked. If you wonder, why am I going back? That was what I was doing. I was heading this way, and those guys sort of gang rushed me. So before progressing further, let's take this little path up. There is a mutated thingy up here. We take those guys out. Go up first. I don't want to drop down because I'm not sure I can get back up if I drop down. So let's do this first. Looks like we can go out that way, exit that way as well. Always worried about getting knocked off of these things. Okay, so this is leading to the next spire. Which means there's someone we have to fight up top. Yep, he's hanging out on the other side. But unlike the last tower where there were two people up and they were fighting one another, I think there's only one person up here. Yeah, this guy always, after a few circles around his things, will always go back to his starting spot in this little corner. I'm not sure why, but makes him an easy target. Some more upgrade material, and we light the second spire. Yeah, you can see the infected sort of dropping dead. All right. So now, our job is to go back to where we started this. Just make sure. Looking over here. Let's release the ladder, giving us a way back up should we need it, although I'm not sure why we would ever come back here. I guess technically you could have run over here, slid down. I'm not sure why you'd come over there. You wouldn't kite the enemy that way. So anyway, I'm going back to the start. Well, I guess the ladder that I just released would have probably taken me all the way back down to the bottom. Yeah, I think that was what that ladder was for. So instead, we're taking the slow path back down. Oh yeah, that's right. We did not, is this there? There's a little, it had a little drop down. Maybe not. This is where we started when the guy was shooting at us. going into those mines. Oh no, this is I figure where we are. We were sort of chased up in this direction before going back and getting that ladder. I think there are some confusing pathways, whether it's the snowy ones or the foresty area. It is confusing sometimes. This is where we kill the 2 dogs. Why are you killing 2 dogs again? Because I did reset. We hadn't gone far into this area, so it's the 2 dogs. A bandit's going to jump down, or try to jump down on you as you continue up. And then there's the path straight ahead, a path slightly to the left of that, and then the open... There's the bandit. And then there's an area with lots of loot. That's very enticing. And it's like begging for you to go in and get it. It's too good to be true, so you figure it's got to be a trap. Trying to figure out what my next direction is. Okay, so take care of this guy. He's the only guy back here. There are no bandits that can jump out or anything like that. And to the right of where...
Hunger, frost, and the spectre of death. Life's hardships with no end in sight.
These laughing guys. This one, even though he looks like he would be a fire wielder, the damage of the things he throws at us is frost. So you wanna dodge them. They do leave a little residual. It's a little fog behind them. The good thing is he tends to stay far enough away from you so that you can not worry about most of his attacks. And the flying frost faces are very easy to dodge. There's a fire version of that I'll tend to use a little bit more than the frost version. Frost is not very weak, sorry, very strong in this game against bosses. Fire is very strong against them. Magic, somewhere in the middle. Let's see if he was hiding any loot worth taking. Actually, what? That's not true. All loot is worth taking. Now, we go into this area that has all this loot just lying around. It does look incredibly suspicious. And I'm not sure whether that's progression or not, since the house that we see in the background that's on fire isn't a house that I think we can actually enter. So let's take a look. Okay, so that was the issue. We have the inner demon. That's what we wanted her to do. We want to walk right over our mine, take a chunk of her health, in this next mine, see if she's learned anything. She hasn't. I'm using the longsword. She moves so quick, I don't think I can really fight her with the short sword. Okay. Alright. She's got new talents. I don't know what that is. Pure magic or what that was. It wasn't corruption, it wasn't blight. She still hits very hard. And I probably should have equipped some throwables. Waiting for my magic to recharge. That didn't work, so I'm going to try to run back and see if I can find another mine. And hopefully she'll run over. As long as she follows me, and so far these enemies can be kited a long way. If I hadn't killed everybody else down here, maybe I'd be able to entice her to fight other enemies. I guess if they attack her. So I'm trying to find a... Is she coming? That's what happens when you get hit with frost. It doesn't really do a lot of damage. It just sort of stuns you a little bit. Which, when you're fighting someone like her, you definitely don't want to be stunned. I'm trying to run to the next, there we go, the next mine. Shoot, she skipped right past it. Let's try this again. Oh my god. Gotta heal before I end up dead. She stepped on one finally. Wasn't close enough to capitalize. This one I am. Alright, there we go. Wow. I had to back all the way back to a previous area, have this woman follow me all the way back there, step on 4 mines in order to kill her. Really do have to learn how to fight her. Because my guess is they're going to keep appearing. I think I mentioned before that there are 2 situations in which she will appear. One is if your madness level is way high. I guess not way high, but maxed. The other is in certain areas of the game. I guess it just wants to give you an additional challenge, because even if your madness isn't very high, and you walk into that area to take that loot, she'll appear. So it doesn't really matter whether your madness is high or not. It's just part of the game. This may be the 3rd time I believe this has happened to us. It happened twice in Worship's Rise. I think it's the first time it's happened here. So I don't know. I don't know whether it's a random thing or whether it's just part of the game. I guess it is part of the game since it happened. This little path is leading us back to the spire. So what we're going to do is we're going to use these cannons that are so conveniently set up. There's always cannon ammo nearby. So sometimes if you reach one of the cannons, it always has 1 or 2 shots, and then you have to add more. But they're never empty when you show up. I guess if you use all the ammo and then you go away and you don't reset the world, it's quite possible that you'll try to fire the cannon and it won't fire. But when we get into the rebel camp proper, there can be a lot of cannons set up.
Please, sir. I have nothing left to offer. If that is not enough, then take my life and be done with it. Snowfall's collectors have already stripped us bare. And now you come. These scraps of meat will not satisfy your hunger. I beg you, sir, show mercy.
Okay, buddy. The good thing about the snow is you can at least see where you've been, which is a helpful feature of the game in terms of the environment. Okay, not sure why the open building if there's nothing in it. Just checking around every little nook and cranny to make sure I'm not leaving any loot behind. Exploding arrows are pretty potent. They damage you, but they're not one shot. They can't one shot you, which is, I guess if you're low health they can. He's one of the people that was firing at us from when we were down there. You know, it's funny, there's a boatload of snow on the ground, but it never snows. You never see snow falling, which is kind of interesting. They do a good job of making the place look like it's cold as hell. So I changed the outfits from the armor set from what I had earlier, where she was walking around basically half naked. But the reason why I had her in that outfit was because it had high frost resistance. So for me, it's about utility, not about the way it looks. So if I'm in an area where the environment sort of and I guess they're not a lot like that, right? I shouldn't say, because I guess you can be in a poisonous or a blight area. We were in a corruption area, and now we're in a frost area, and there are armor sets that mitigate each of those. You definitely want to use them. Okay, this is I don't think this is a shortcut. I think this is a section. This is leading to another section of Cloudspire. So I'm just going to open it and make sure I've cleared everything that I need to clear in this section. Yeah, the game definitely has quite a few branching paths, side paths. The ones that lead to dead ends I'm okay with because you sort of know, okay, that's the end, you can go back the other way. The ones that sort of loop around are a little annoying because you're like, so is this progression or not? So what I try to do is, if it's progression and I haven't completed the last area, I'll go back to it and try to complete everything. Like that's a new area, so I sort of feel like, okay, there's stuff I haven't done in the previous areas, let me go back. Okay, alright, this area I haven't been to yet either. So the question is, what's the first one that I should do? Grab this. There's a guy up top that we need to kill. Just make sure there's nothing that I'm missing before going up. Interesting that he hasn't moved. That was a waste. I should have just gone up and gotten an obliterate or a critical hit. Let's since he was just standing there. Some of the enemies are interesting because they will respond to you trying to sneak up behind them, and some don't. Like the giants, they don't respond. You can sneak up behind them and get an obliterate hit, and you know, you can get one. You're not going to get more than one, I guess, unless you break their posture. Most of the other enemies, when you start walking towards them, they'll turn around and start fighting. So I didn't give this guy a chance. I'm not sure whether he would have turned around or not. In any case, we've sent them onward. We have one of those, fill up our collection of these little bombs. Yeah, fire it. I'm not sure why I should. I don't see anything over there. Okay, so you typically want to fire because the likelihood of the cannon shots hitting something seems to be relatively high for some reason. But in this particular location, I don't see anything over there, so I'm not sure. I figured just fire a few. If I happen to kill something, great. If I don't, oh well. We're eventually going to work our way over there. I believe that area is the actual rebel camp. I hear a bird. Definitely need to do more of the using, especially the short sword, using that more to just become a little bit more proficient at it, especially as it relates to bosses. I think that's the real big deal. I mean, you really have to be close to hit them. Unlike the long sword or the spear, you have to be really a lot closer than you might think. I think dagger range with the short sword. Okay, so we have a guy over there that's firing at us. He always fires 3 times. He's a red eye as well. And he's protecting the chest. Okay, so there should be a chest and there should be some loot. This is the loot. And this is the little chest. That's the only thing that was over in this little section. Easily missable. Well, I guess maybe not, because if you walk past, he's going to fire 3 shots at you. So that's a bit of a dead giveaway. So I can go right, I can go straight ahead. Actually, and then straight ahead looks like the path splits into multiple ways to go, unless this path to the left just loops around. I'm not sure, but the path to the right just loops around. I see the lines leading to the next spire or the gate. So let's do them one at a time. Bye, birdie. So we're going to do left, middle, and then right. Okay. All right, you guys. Let's see if we can make him run over a mine. It's right there. I definitely don't think that'll be enough to kill him, so I probably should soften him up a little bit more. And in this frost area, I don't know why I wasn't using the fire spell that I have instead of using pure magic. Sorry, that was my Alexa bothering me again. Probably wondering about a notification or something. A news notification. That should do
my
it.
nation.
Yep, there we go. Nice. You finally got with the program. That's what you want them to do. You want to soften them up so that if they step on the mine, it'll kill them. May as well use the environment to your advantage. Okay, so we have a ladder leading up. And we had a little chest on the other side. Before we do that, let's go back and unlock this gate. This is a gate that leads to the shrine that you saw earlier. Sorry for the weird cut, too, by the way. I realized there was some stuff I hadn't done, and before I move on, I don't want to move completely on without doing the stuff that I should do. So there's some things that I needed to do back here. So the only way to unlock that gate is to work your way around and remove the log that was blocking it. Now once you get here, there are multiple ways that you can go. The door off to the left, we've had these doors before. If you answer the question incorrectly, you'll be ported somewhere else. Answer correctly, you'll be able to open the door. In this particular instance, you don't have to worry about that. I think there are a total of 4 doors. This one leads to the Outskirts Mining Road. So that we'll do later. Because again, it sort of branches into a different area. And I'm trying to be a little bit rational about the order in which I do some of this stuff. As long as I don't end up in the next region of the game. Right? If I'm still in Cloudspire, I'm okay, because that's chapter 2. I don't want to jump to the mountain, which is chapter 3. But at least in this particular instance, we sort of... I thought I was beyond the whole stepping on mines. Actually, that wasn't a mine. The guy shot me. Okay, so what we were doing was going up here. We have a chest and we have a ladder. And that was what we were doing before we unlocked that gate. Gate is a good shortcut, and it gave me an opportunity to sort of reset. Not fighting everything all over again, just making my way to this particular path. And yes, I do want him to step on the mine again. Let's see if we can kill him the same way. Yeah, I end up usually backing too far away. Yeah, see, the idea is to be closer, so that when he's stunned by the mine blast, that you can actually go in and get a couple of whacks in. Oh great, I aggroed the other guy. Perfect. Okay, so the militia guy apparently has reached his range of following me. The other guy would have followed me all the way back, since this is where he came from. Okay, so now we can do the stuff that we were going to do before we change our mind to go back and unlock that gate. I have a feeling that since this is one of those burn the bonfire things, that there's an enemy up there. I don't think there's one on the other side. But there is an emote item over here. I'm so glad the game made it so that I can't fall off the mountain when I'm doing this animation, because that would have been incredibly annoying. Okay, so now we can go up. And I think this third one... I think this... I don't remember whether this... I think it lowers a bridge to the boss. I think that's what this one is. But like all the other ones... Alexa, stop. Like all the other ones, you have some little things you can do beforehand, like this guy waiting to jump me. Grab this loot. Climb up. Okay, so we have two paths. Let's go up here because this looks like a dead end, so. Grab this, and then we will work our way outside. There is a ladder here that looks like it's one of those drop-down ladders. We have this guy with this freaking swinging axe thing. Okay, this ladder should take us to the roof. Who's he talking to? Okay, he's bitching and moaning all by himself up here. So we're gonna sneak up here, and then we're just going to... It would be nice if we can knock him off of this, but I don't know whether we can. All the other ones, we loot whatever we have up here, and we light the spire, or we light the bonfire, which is attached to the spire. It is attached to a spire, not a bridge. Oh, I guess it's attached to both. So that bridge leads to the boss. Which we don't want to fight yet, because there's another boss, right? I mentioned at the start of the video There are 2 bosses in this area, and they really are bosses, not a mini boss. They're actual bosses. And you want to fight the other one first. Maybe it doesn't matter which order you fight them in, to be honest. I feel like the... Oh, okay, let's take care of you. Over here. Yeah, that was a waste of magic. So yeah, I don't think it matters the order in which you do them. Although the boss across that bridge sort of feels like the final boss. Because it sort of ends the area. Messing with me like that, buddy. The boss that we fight before that is sort of in the... I don't know, it's in the outskirts or in the rebel camp. It's definitely not in the same place. The final boss, or that boss that's on the other side of the bridge, is in an isolated area. It sort of seems sort of off by itself. We still have to work our way through the rebel camp, and there's an underground section that we have to do as well, which we're going to do in the next episode, in part 6. We're at the hour-and-a-half mark, and to get through the next area is probably going to take a whole nother hour. And I'm not sure people have the appetite for a 2.5-hour video. We'll wait and do that the next time. We also have the Outskirts Mining Road to do. We want to do that before we do the final boss. We don't want to jump ahead and do the final boss. I guess part of the reason I'm doing it this way is I don't want to get locked out of the boss that I'm referring to is across that bridge over there. So you'll have to remember where this is because you need to find your way back here once you do everything else in this area. We have the Outskirts Mining Road, and we have the Rebel Camp. So we do have 2 other areas that are of significance that we need to complete before we start dealing with the bosses. I think one of them might be in the Rebel Camp, the general guy. They're sort of off to the side. They're never in the middle of a place. They're always sort of off the beaten path. But I know that the final one is over there, and the other one is in a totally different location within Cloudspire. So yeah, you know, when you reset the area, these cannon firing guys are still around, and standing around thinking, ruminating on where I should go next is probably not the smart thing. So we're gonna wrap things here. And when we come back in the next episode, we're going to pick up exactly where we stopped. Remember, there are uploads every Tuesday and Friday. The next episode, I'll try to at least get it to the 2-hour mark. So at least a little bit longer. We can progress the story a little bit further than today. But thank you guys for joining me. And if you like this video, please check the like button, subscribe, and more importantly, please comment. All right, thanks a lot. This is Reg at PaxAriaGaming, and I will see you in episode 6. Bye-bye.